Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Caden Cleveland here with the Oklahoma Senate, and you are of course joining us for another episode of OK Senate on Deck with Senator Greg Treat, who is our pro tem of the Oklahoma Senate. Senator, we have a really just abbreviated conversation this morning to talk about a meeting that took place last week, the BOE meeting.
Yeah.
And now that's the Board of Equalization.
It occurred last Wednesday, yes, sir.
That's right. Okay. So let's just sit and talk about that, explain to everybody what happened there, what that means exactly for the state and the budget process, and then we'll get you out of here. Sound good?
Sounds great. And first off, we're 2 days from Christmas, so Merry Christmas first,
absolutely.
and then we'll talk
Good
about
start
Board of Equalization.
I like that's a good start. Okay, well, hang tight, guys, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. And as I mentioned before, of course, we're joined this week with Senator Greg Treat. So Senator, the Board of Equalization met last week, and they meet a few times a year throughout the year just to talk about the state appropriations amount. So kind of getting, a perspective on it now that they've met and everything's come out. Was everything expected that you saw? Are you excited about what's going on? You kind of tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Board of Equalization is a constitutionally created entity, statewide elected officers, statewide officials, Department of Ag, treasurer, governor, lieutenant governor, auditor. There's more,
right?
But you get the idea.
Yeah.
So they meet in December, give us a preliminary information on the next year's budget, and then they meet again in February to give us the real number that we deal with in appropriations. So the number they gave us this past Wednesday is tentative. It was $612 million up over the last year's appropriations authority,
right?
Which is good news. For the past few years, we've been coming into session $800 million down, $1.3 billion down. We've been scrambling to try to find money.
Yeah, so to have that 612 above is a pretty good news to be.
It's welcome, but it's not without its own problems.
Gotcha.
First off, it's because of a lot of hard work, both in the private sector. The economy is recovering thanks to the hard work of the businessmen and women of Oklahoma, thanks to the consumers of Oklahoma who are out spending their money, and hopefully they continue to spend money at the rate they're doing, and hopefully they continue to hire and invest and drill and all those things that keep the economy moving. So primarily the private sector, the consumers are doing well. The legislature has also made some really tough choices over the last year and a half of having to get revenue into the budget to shore it up.
Right.
And those tough, uneasy votes that we made have helped us get into a position of much more financial solvency.
Gotcha.
But that being said, we're $612 million up, but we don't have an additional $612 million to spend. First off, we have to wait for the February actual certification to know where we're at. Everyone, if you're reading the papers this morning, you're seeing that the barrel of oil, it's going back and forth, so we don't know where it's at.
It's fluctuating a lot right now.
The Equalization, Board of Equalization set the value, I think, at $54 and some change for a barrel of oil. We're underperforming on that to date. And then they set MCF actually lower than we're performing today, so we'll see if that balances out and see what the trend is between here and February.
Gotcha.
But that being said, we have some obligations. I think Senator Thompson and you have spoken on our page as well. I encourage people to watch that.
Yeah.
But the 612, when you start looking at ad valorem reimbursement, when you start looking at a workers' comp lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court of $80 million, that gets pared down really quickly to in the neighborhood of $200 million.
Okay.
So we're on the positive. We're good. I'm extremely optimistic, but don't start spending that $600 million. We've got to be very prudent with those dollars and make sure that we know we have ongoing obligations. First and foremost, and I want to say this directly to the camera, we will absolutely pay for the teacher pay raise going forward. There's a lot of rumors online that it was just a one-time funding stream. People take the letter of the bill and try to twist it into something it's not. We are obligated. We will pay for the teacher pay raise going forward, and I just want people to know that.
That's great, and that's an extremely important point to make. So, okay, so just to kind of, recap and clarify, whenever somebody reads the headline that Oklahoma has a $612 $1 million surplus with their budget, that doesn't exactly mean that we have $612 million extra to spend on different agencies this year, because we have a lot of different expenses that have to be met first.
There's a lot of expenses that have to be met. I mean, we truly do have $612 million more in appropriations authority than we did last year at this point in time. We'll see in February how that goes.
Right.
But there are ongoing obligations, flex benefit allowance for teachers, state employees. Then you look at the ad valorem reimbursement people have invested that we're reimbursing on those county levels. You also look at, like I said earlier, the workers' comp lawsuit, which is a one-time $80 million. You look at OU and OSU medical schools and clawback of some federal dollars that had been going to there that we're going to now be obligated to pay for. So it's not that we don't have it to spend, but a lot of it is obligated going forward. And I don't want people to get the wrong impression that all of a sudden, if you've been reading the papers, I mean, different agencies have asked for pretty large increases in their budget.
Right.
That's fine and good and well that they ask for it. But if you accumulate all those, there's no way, even if we had the totality of the 612, that we could meet all their requests.
I think something Senator Thompson said is that last week, not all the agencies hadn't even submitted their request yet for budget, but already it had far beyond exceeded the total amount that we actually have to be able to appropriate.
Yeah, and let me take a moment. Senator Thompson, who chose for appropriations chair, is doing an amazing job there. His Vice Chairman, Dave Rader, is doing a good job. The subcommittee chairs are doing hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of times people see that we meet from February to May constitutionally. The first Monday in February to the last Friday in May is what the Constitution says. Obviously, you have special sessions like we've had in the past. But we work it this year round, and Senator Thompson and his team have been putting in yeoman's work. They have been putting in long hours.
True.
And I'm extremely confident in the decision I made there, and hopefully people will watch this as well, so they can get more in detail on what we're talking about.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we're about out of time here, but I'm just glad that we got a chance to recap the Board of Equalization meeting and what impact that actually has as we move into session here. So is there anything else you wanted to add before we kind of sign off here?
No. You're watching this on Sunday before Christmas. Merry Christmas. I hope you get to spend time with family and not just me and Caden. Yeah. I'm glad you're watching, but please put down the phone, the tablet, the computer, whatever you have that you're watching this on. Go spend some time with family. This is truly the most wonderful time of the year, and I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for joining again this week. Again, you can see any of our videos at protem.oksenate.gov, but given that this week is Christmas, make sure you spend time with your family. Don't just watch all of our videos, of course. So
I know people will be tempted to.
Yeah, of course. Right. Well, hey, guys, thanks again for joining us, and I guess we'll see you next week. Bye.